The 6th of May 1955. Unsurprisingly, Stirling Moss's epic 1955 Mille Miglia victory made Autosport's cover. Perhaps surprisingly, we didn't use a green cover, which would soon become a regular feature, to celebrate major British successes. Partnered with Dennis Jenkinson, reading specially prepared notes to help with directions, Moss became only the second non-home driver to win the famous 1,000-mile road race around Italy. The duo's Mercedes 300 SLR beat teammate Juan Manuel Fangio by over half an hour in the tough 10-hour event and averaged nearly 100 miles an hour. It remains one of the most remarkable performances in motorsport history. Graham Hill's remarkable second Formula One world title made our cover on the 8th of November 1968. Hill had picked up the beleaguered Lotus team following the death of teammate and championship favourite Jim Clark in April, and he'd fought the Matra of Jackie Stewart for the crown. He arrived at the Mexican GP finale 3 points ahead of Stewart, with McLaren's Denny Hulme an outsider for the title. Hill battled Stewart in a war of nerves, according to Autosport's report, until the Matra had trouble. Hill went on to score his third win of the year to add to his 1962 crown. The 1976 Formula One season was epic, a story incredible enough for Hollywood to make it into a successful film, Rush. James Hunt had grabbed the attention with his performances for Hesketh, and he got his big break when Emerson Fittipaldi left McLaren at the end of 1975. Armed with the iconic M23, Hunt took the fight to Niki Lauda and Ferrari. Following Lauda's horrific German GP accident, Hunt closed the gap, but Lauda's heroic return meant he travelled to the Japanese GP finale with a 3-point advantage. In terrible conditions, Lauda withdrew, and Hunt dramatically finished third to clinch the crown by a single point, leaving Autosport with one of its easiest cover decisions. Nigel Mansell had started 71 World Championship Grand Prix without a victory, and Alain Prost had narrowly missed out on the title 3 times when the Formula One pack arrived at Brands Hatch for the 1985 European GP. But both of those injustices were put right. After an early clash with leader Ayrton Senna, Keke Rosberg returned from a pit stop to delay the Lotus just enough to help Williams teammate Mansell snatch the lead. While Mansell headed off to victory, Prost recovered from a difficult start to finish 4th in his McLaren and seal his first world crown with 2 rounds still to go. An odd choice of cover image perhaps, but the green masthead of the 16th of June marked a significant moment in British motorsport history. Despite winning the World Sports Car Championship, Jaguar hadn't won the Le Mans 24 Hours since 1957. When 5 Tom Walkinshaw Racing XJR 9LMs arrived in France for the 1988 race. Porsche hadn't been defeated in the event since 1980, but in an epic contest, the German marque's reign finally came to an end. The car of Jan Lammers, Andy Wallace and Johnny Dumfries led the Jaguar charge from the start and, despite a failing gearbox, narrowly defeated the 962 of Hans Stuck, Derek Bell and Klaus Ludwig to take a famous victory. After several near misses, most famously with a tyre blowout in Adelaide in 1986, Nigel Mansell finally clinched the Formula One title at the 1992 Hungarian GP. It was therefore entirely fitting that his success should earn Mansell a green cover and star billing. Mansell and the advanced Williams FW14B had been the dominant force of the campaign, having won 8 of the 10 rounds before the race on the Hungaroring. Mansell had a fraught race, but following a late pit stop for tyres, he charged through to second behind Ayrton Senna's McLaren to clinch the title with 5 races remaining. What's believed to be the best-selling issue of Autosport Magazine came in tragic circumstances. The 1994 San Marino GP remains one of the worst weekends in motorsport history. On Friday, Jordan driver Rubens Barrichello would survive a nasty accident before Roland Ratzenberger was killed in a horrible crash in his Simtek the following day. It was F1's first fatality at a race meeting for 12 years. The next came just a day later, when Ayrton Senna crashed at the high-speed Tamburello while leading the GP and suffered fatal injuries. Michael Schumacher's "We must learn from this experience" quote made our cover, and F1 did. The Imola tragedies triggered a raft of circuit and regulation changes and a legacy of prioritising safety that lasts to this day. Colin McRae made our cover for 3 consecutive issues as his 1995 challenge for the World Rally Championship reached its crescendo. Our interim RAC Rally report in the 23rd of November issue covered how McRae and his co-driver Derek Ringer had recovered from 2 punctures to take the lead ahead of Subaru teammate Carlos Sainz. McRae would prove unstoppable over the rest of the event, scoring his 2nd consecutive RAC Rally victory and becoming the first Briton to win the WRC driver's title. How brilliant Shui ended Ferrari's 21-year agony, said our cover after Michael Schumacher clinched his 3rd Formula One world title with a victory in the Japanese GP. A Ferrari driver hadn't won the crown since 1979, but Schumacher finally ended the wait with a performance he later described as the race of his life. Schumacher had arrived at Suzuka with an 8-point lead over double champion Mika Häkkinen. The pair dominated the race, with Schumacher winning the high-speed duel by 1.8 seconds, to add to his titles scored with Benetton in 1994 and 1995. It was the start of an incredible run of success for Ferrari and Schumacher that would yield another 4 Drivers' Championships. Michael Schumacher's record of 7 world titles seemed out of reach when the legendary German first retired from Formula One at the end of 2006. Lewis Hamilton arrived in F1 the following year, but a largely frustrating 6 seasons with McLaren yielded just 1 championship success. Following his switch to Mercedes in 2013, however, Hamilton has racked up victory upon victory, and 2nd place in the 2019 United States GP was enough for the Briton to secure his 6th title, bringing Schumacher's mark tantalisingly into range. Unsurprisingly, Autosport marked the success with one of its rare green covers. Well, so much has happened in the 70 years that we've been covering motorsport, and we want to thank everyone who's joined us, supported us, and contributed to us. And here's to the next 70 years.